يا حبيبي ضلك ضل علي وعيني بكير، غمرني والمس لي ايدي، نسيني بين ايدي، انا شو مشتاق عليك يا حبيبي، خلي قلبك خلي يحملنا وينك يا حبيبي، اشتقت لك كتير، ارجع اشوفك حبيبي، ما توقعت تصير، فكرتك نسيني وما بدك تحكيني، فكرتك نسيني وما بدك تحكيني، يا سارق حنيني.
Favorite memory with Dad? I'm gonna probably have to go with Indian guides. Lot of great memories from Indian guides with Dad. Camping. I know Dad hated camping, but we went anyways and had a lot of fun out there. He hated so much actually camping that he would drive me out there. We'd spend the day, and then sometime during the campfire or shortly after, when everybody's starting to get ready for bed, we'd get in the car and drive 2.5, 3 hours back home, sleep at home, get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, drive all the way back, and join them for breakfast and the day's festivities. It's a favorite memory. I wasn't too crazy about going home. I would have loved to actually stayed there, but you know what? We went, and it was awesome. And that is probably one of my favorite memories.
My favorite memory with Dad is when he came to Seattle in October of 2017 to visit his grandkids. I've never seen Dad so happy and relaxed and playful, and it was really touching to see him share his own traditions with my children, like making mamul and just reading books together and having that special time. And it really made me wish we lived closer together so that they could enjoy that time together more often.
What is one of my favorite memories with Dad? Well, I'll give two, an old one and a newer one. So I don't have many memories with Dad from when we were young because I just didn't have that opportunity. But I do have memories, I don't even know the name of the show anymore, of sitting down and watching the Chuck Henry travel TV show all the time. I don't even know what the show is called, but I do remember Chuck Henry and watching it with Dad. And one year for my birthday, he wrote to Chuck Henry and got him to send me an autographed picture. I was really young, and it was the coolest thing ever. So I love that memory. And then a more recent years memory, 2-ish years ago, I think, when Dad came up to visit, I was telling him that I'd finally learned how to play backgammon. And so we sat down and pulled out the backgammon board, and I started showing him how I'd learned to play backgammon. And he kind of scoffed and was like, "You're playing the easy American way," and wanted to teach me the real Syrian way to play backgammon. And we sat on the couch, and he taught me how to play backgammon his way and kicked my ass multiple times. I lost every time, and he took great pleasure in winning. So I don't know where I got that competitive spirit from, Dad. But it was such a great memory because learning those kinds of things and doing stuff like that is something I missed out on a lot when I was a kid because we weren't able to have Dad in our lives as much as we would have liked. And so to be able as an adult to finally get to have those types of experiences is huge.
So favorite memory with Dad, first off, there's way too many good memories to recount, but if I had to narrow it down to one, I would say it would be that one summer, probably 10, 15, 20 years ago, when we all went down to Syria. And we're all pretty big milk drinkers, I'd say especially me. Unfortunately, in Syria, all they drink is goat milk, and it does not taste like milk, and you have to boil it to get rid of the impurities, and it's just not the same thing. So knowing this, Dad actually had to go back to the States for a few weeks for work, and then he was going to fly back out to Syria. So on his way back, he surprised us with 2 whole gallons of milk that he dragged along all the way from the US to Syria in this big cooler with just ice packs and ice cubes and the whole 9 yards. It was probably some of the best tasting milk I've ever had, and I'll never forget it.
The best thing that I like about Dad growing up is how Dad likes to cook every dessert, and he makes very good food.
My favorite memories with you are back in my childhood when you'd come to my open houses in elementary school and walk around and you'd read to me. Those are all memories that I think of when I think of memories. But of course, every single moment with you is to be cherished.
Something I learned from Dad. So you know what, for this one I really have to go back to more recent times. I don't know, was it 5, 6, 7 years ago? Not exactly sure when. But Dad did this series from FM Global where he talked about sales and getting to know people. And then just talking to Dad about, how he does that. I learned a lot from that. A great deal, actually, about just building relationships with people, getting to know people and stuff, as opposed to just going in and assessing and trying to sell them their options and stuff. And I really put it to use in my own life and in my own job and career. So I've been very much successful because of that, just going in, talking to people. I always have photos of my family and stuff in my phone with me. And we compare pictures, just talk about, I find out what they do for a living, what their spouse does for a living, what brought them to the area, where they've lived. Just general stuff that has nothing to do with what I'm there for. And, I just get to know people, do my assessments, talk to them about it. And the majority of the time, there's no really selling involved. I just tell them what they need or don't need, and they sign off on it, and off we go. I don't try to sell people anything they don't need. I just find out what their actual needs are, which I learn a lot from our conversations, and I give them what they want. And it's very easy. But I was never good at this in the past, but I was just very inspired by his videos on FM Global. That was just, it had a significant impact on my life. That's for sure.
The most valuable lesson Dad has taught me is that when life gives you lemons, to make lemonade. I think that's apparent now with his current health challenges. He's very positive, he's very upbeat, and with his legal challenges over the past years, he's just persevered, kept on going, and done the best he could without letting it completely consume him. And that's really impressive how Dad's able to have such a jovial spirit, even when life isn't always sending you the perfect situation.
Okay, one valuable lesson I learned from Dad. Well, there are at least a couple of them, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention probably my earliest lesson I learned from Dad, which was blackjack. I'm pretty sure I could recognize card combinations of 21 before I could even count to 10. So thanks, Dad. That has both cost me a lot of money and won me a lot of money in my adult life. So I'm not sure how great of a lesson that was, but I've always had fun with it. But Lizzie, stop. But the real valuable lesson I've learned from Dad is attitude is everything, right? So even when shit's not going your way, like right now, I was actually going to stop this and then figure, no, this is a great example. The dog's barking, the air conditioner just kicked on, not working how I'm supposed to. But what I learned from Dad is even when, Lizzie, stop, even when shit's not going right, you have to have the right attitude. You have two ways you can approach things. You can get upset and freak out, or you can be logical about things and approach them with the right attitude. Like right now, I could be getting mad, or I could realize that this is my 10th time and the dog's still barking, and so we're just gonna roll with it. But that's definitely an attitude from Dad that, even when stuff's not going right, you just have to roll with it. God damn it.
So one of the things that Dad has taught me, of course, you know, there's way too many things to really talk about, but one thing that really stands out is the concept of unconditional love. And Dad didn't have to teach this because he exemplified it. And a lot of people talk about unconditional love, but the people that actually exemplify it are far and in between. And when I talk about unconditional love, when I'm talking about Dad, it's, you know, he doesn't love to get anything in return. He doesn't expect anything in return. He loves because he cares for you and he wants the best for you. And he wants to be there for you, not because he's going to get any kind of recognition or anything out of it, because he genuinely just loves and cares for us, and especially for his kids and his family.
Okay, the one thing I like about Dad is how he taught us to save money at an early age.
Valuable lessons you've taught me are to be humble and to have integrity. I think those are the main things that I see in myself that I have attained from you. They both speak for themselves in terms of how you did that, because you carry those characteristics very well.
So the thing I love most about Dad, his determination. I mean, there's so many things in life that when he's put his mind to it, and total determination, and he gets things done, and he doesn't give up. I mean, his dream of coming to America, you know, as a child, and growing up with wanting to come here and live the American dream, and never giving up on it. You know, he tried to come out here, couldn't make it, went to Germany, spent some time out there, got accepted. Then there's a whole story about Amonabil and his bicycle, but he got here, and you know, he lives his dreams here. I think he puts every effort into trying to achieve his dreams, and he does everything in his power for his children. You know, his dreams, I think, really are about success in his family, and he really does everything he can. I mean, in very recent times, we can see that, how far he'll go to try to keep his children safe and help them succeed. And it's amazing. And because of that, that's how I plan to be with my children. I want to do everything for them to succeed in life. And I think it's okay to really chase your dreams like our father had. And I really admire that also, and that's just totally awesome. So I think that's what I love most about Dad, is that he follows his dreams, and he really, he's very determined to take care of everything.
What I love and admire most about Dad is his ability to let criticism just roll off his back. I wish I had that ability. Dad has an amazing way of evaluating criticism for what it is and determining, is it justified or is it not justified? And if it's not justified, he's able to let it go and not let it consume him, which is a very valuable skill that I think everyone would love to have.
Okay, so what's one thing I love about Dad? Well, I love a lot of things about Dad, but one of the things I love and appreciate the most about Dad is how much he loves his children. I know it sounds cliche, but I think there are a lot of people, the best way to explain it is there are a lot of people who, when something goes wrong for one of their kids, they cry for themselves because they're hurting because their kids are hurting. Whereas Dad cries for his kids. He doesn't cry for himself, he actually cries for them. And he's got that sense of empathy that I think is hard to find and that not a lot of people really have. And even when his kids make decisions that he may not necessarily disagree with or necessarily agree with, when the shit hits the fan, he's there to support us and doesn't say, "I told you so," but instead is so supportive and does everything he can to help us get past it. And I think that takes a lot, that he's able to put aside his own feelings on our actions sometimes to really care about us instead. So I really appreciate Dad's empathy and his unconditional, unselfish love for his kids, and just the fact that he's always there even when he's not in agreement with our choices.
What do I love most about Dad? There's so many things I love about Dad, but choosing one, I would go with his patience. You know, even as a youngster growing up in Syria, his dream was to come to America, and he was patient. He waited till he was of age where he could travel by himself, do things by himself, and he made it happen. Even though he didn't have the resources to come to the States initially, he was patient enough to go to Germany first and figure it out instead of saying, oh, this is too difficult, I can't do it. And he's shown patience throughout his entire life. He shows great deal of patience with his family when things just don't make sense or things are happening for reasons that no other person can really fathom. He's had patience in different kinds of business ventures that he's done in the past, where, you know, he's had bad business partners and he just had to figure it out and go through it. He has patience in his career, balancing his family and the issues that often arise, and a full-time schedule, and just, you know, he does such a good job of balancing so many different things. And if you really try to kind of imagine yourself in his situation, you often find yourself asking, how does he do it? How does he manage everything so well with a smile on his face? And that really just goes back to his amazing patience that he really, really has.
Dad is loving, caring, and very secure. Dad can be funny sometimes, but sometimes serious, but most of the time he's a joker.
What I like the most about you, there's no way I can answer that, because you're my dad and I love you.
Happy Father's Day, Dad. Love you.
Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Happy Father's Day, Dad. Love you.
Happy Father's Day, Baba. Love you.
Happy Father's Day, Dad. I love you.
God damn it. God damn it. God damn it.
أنا شو مشتاق علي يا حبيبي، خلي قلبي خلي يحملنا.